Louis, thank you very much for joining us. It's a pleasure to meet you. I don't believe we've had the pleasure of meeting each other, although our paths probably crossed, and we know a lot of people in common. Uh,
Great pleasure to meet you, Roy. It's I'm like being interviewed by like a superstar, so this is good.
oh, stop. Will you stop? Thank you very much. Hey, couple of things. There's a bit of sad bittersweetness to this whole story. And that is, just as Mario was signing to be the coach of the Canes, your mom, who dreamed of that day, had really lapsed into a coma. She really was at the last legs of her life. Did she ever grasp, even in the final moments, that Mario's dream came true?
I believe so. I truly believe so. There was times where she was in and out of consciousness. Although she couldn't speak because she had a trach in. She was first intubated, and then after a couple of weeks of being intubated, then they had put in a trach. However, they were never able to put in a voice box. But she was able to communicate, like with her eyes and like squeezing our hands and stuff like that, facial expressions and whatnot. I'm at peace knowing that she was happy. She was happy. She was proud. She loved it. I'm 1,000% certain that she loved it, that her boys are finally together again, that Mario's here, Jessica's here, the boys, our family, my wife, Elizabeth, our children, Kaylee, Lewis, and Richard, and that we're all together and that we're going to be living and raising our families together. So it was awesome. It was a great moment. To know that she knew, because we constantly tell her also, and she would acknowledge that she understood. So that was cool.
How about your dad, who passed many, many years before? Talk about him as a force specifically. I know they were both refugees, but their story is so inspiring, and he was quite a character too.
Yeah, well, they were Cuban exiles. Cuban exiles came over separately. They didn't meet until they met here. Actually, my father was friends with our grandfather on my mother's side back in Cuba. They actually worked together under the previous government in the previous government in the military arm of it. My didn't come over until about 1961. Unfortunately, and sadly, like many Cuban political prisoners, he was incarcerated for a time there without any real reason. My grandfather was incarcerated for a short amount of time. He came over as soon as he got out, and along with my mom and my grandparents, they moved to Tampa, and they finally met here on one day when my dad had heard that his friend Mario, who's my grandfather, had moved down to Miami, and went to go visit him one Sunday afternoon, and that's where they met. And they married shortly thereafter. I mean, maybe about a month and a half after. They
Wow.
fell right off the bat, and it was just like that. It just happened. But he was awesome. Our dad was great, man. Our dad was exactly what you just described him as, a force. It was a delicate balance of, man, we had the fear of God of him, but at the same time, he was our best friend, and we felt super comfortable with like talking to him just about anything. He was awesome. He's a guy that, we talk about competitive nature, Mario's competitive nature, my competitive nature, particularly Mario's. I lost that edge a long time ago. We're competing against a ghost because he was such a great dad, and he was such a great friend to us, and he was awesome, as was my mom also. So we were truly blessed. We came from a great family.
Mm. I want to lighten this up a little bit, because I want to hear some ball busting stories with you and him at home. Who beat each other up more, you or him?
It was nonstop. A lot of draws, a lot of draws. We really didn't get along up until like after I left to college.
Really?
Yeah, we really did.
That recently. Wow.
Yeah, I left to college. It's like, I was actually thinking about this a couple days ago, because you as you get older, you reflect and stuff, and and when I left the college, I guess I kind of missed him, you know. I guess I kind of missed him, even though it was right down the street, but still, you're not living with them like every day. And I think our issues just came from just competitiveness. I mean, just at everything from shooting baskets in the backyard to how you buttered your toast. I mean, it was everything, dude. And yeah, there were quite a few fistfights, to say the least.
How about this? I'm going to show you a picture. We mocked this up to make it look like Mario was a professional wrestler.
That's awesome.
So how much did you guys love the wrestling on the beach, Florida wrestling? How into it were you guys as brothers?
Oh man, we were so into it. It was truly a treat when our dad used to take us to the Miami Beach Convention Center and, you know, watch the likes of Dusty Rhodes and Sweet Brown Sugar and Bobo Brazil and Bugsy McFly, on and on. But this lasted all the way up until our college days, man. I mean, it was kind of like, I'm certainly not condoning this for like current players, you know, but it was kind of a famous thing on Friday nights at team hotels, the wrestling match, the matches that Mario and I would have, and people just to watch. And it was just funny. It's just funny.
Did you believe in your heart that he was going to turn down the Secret Service in 1998, or did you think he was going to be out of football and going? Because he had the 2-year agreement that he was going to go to school and learn about being a Secret Service man. Did you really in your heart believe that he was going to go through with it? Or did you say, no, man, he's a coach. He wants to coach.
First of all, that was my dream for him, because my eyes kept me out of the Secret Service. I had terrible eyesight. You had to, back then, you know, neither RK surgery and LASIK wasn't even around, but RK not an acceptable corrective measure for eyesight, and you had to be uncorrected 20/40, and that actually kept me out. So is his dream was your dream? Well, yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's I really wanted that for him, but he wanted it too, big time, right? And then he got into coaching, and he was just a natural, and it was just, when it came to make that choice, it wasn't like you're choosing between one good thing and one bad thing. They're both great careers and stuff. So it was, I mean, I'm certainly glad that he chose the path that he's on. But he would have made a great Secret Serviceman. But I'm super happy, and you know, that he chose what he is, you know, because guy's a stud. You know?
I find it interesting though that had he maybe not been a coach, he might have been in law enforcement. I believe you're in law enforcement.
I'm with the Miami-Dade Police Department. I still say Metro-Dade Police Department because I'm an old school dog. I believe in the old names and stuff. But I'm an old Metro dog, about to retire shortly, actually, going on 30 years. So it's been a heck of a ride. It's been fun.
It was, you know, there was that song, Wind Beneath My Wings. Remember that song? And I'm wondering if deep down, maybe he wouldn't say it, or maybe in some ways he has, and looked at you as the big brother. Of course, the father was the great inspiration, the mother too, but you really were the wind beneath his wings, you know, and he, I think, looked up to you as the big brother. You led the way. You played before he played, although you did play as teammates very briefly. Take the humility out of it for a second. How important do you think you were in his ascension into becoming a coach?
I don't know. I think he always had it in him. I always encouraged him. That's one thing that I feel very comfortable saying. I always back them. I always encourage them in whatever he decides, and I always let him know that. I certainly deserve zero credit for that. It's just what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to support family. You're supposed to encourage family. You're supposed to guide them when you can. But let's be honest. I mean, I can't tell him anything about the coaching profession, just as he couldn't tell me anything about the law enforcement profession. So this was all him. I'm super proud of him. You know, we're obviously super tight, but this was all him, and we are so proud and so happy that they're home, that the family's back together, and what a better place than Miami. I mean, come on, dude. This is awesome. This place is great, right? We know this, right?
Absolutely. Can you envision a situation down the road after you retire with the force that maybe you can have some kind of role with him as and reunite together in some way for that football program?
Absolutely not.
Why?
I am unionized. That's what I always say. These guys, hats off to them. They work a tremendous amount of hours. All kidding aside, I really want to enjoy this. I really want to sit back, enjoy this. Think about how my parents would have enjoyed it, you know, because they were everything to us, and they sacrificed everything for us. So this would have been fantastic, you know, to have us all together. But we know, and we're very faithful in our faith, and we know that they're watching from above. Yeah, I'm just really gonna just sit back and enjoy this. Football has changed so much. You know, people that really don't know like the behind the scenes stuff of how a championship program is run would always say, oh man, all that Miami has to do is just operate like they did back in 2001 and they'd be fine. I got news for you. If you operate like you did in 2001, you'd get blown out. You'd get, because everything changes. Now it's just about layering the organization with the scouting, with the coaching, obviously, scouting, analysts, player development, academics, mental health. I mean, just there's so many little things that if I tried to describe it, I'd be really doing it a disservice. It's like a corporation, man. It's like a corporation, but that's what the successful programs do. And you know, fortunately, I mean, he has a hell of a lot of backing. You know, backing that is going to help. I mean, that's going to help. That's going to. These are necessary things. Without it, you can't do it. Without it, you can't do it. And I mean, it doesn't hurt that the guy's the best recruiter in the freaking country. I mean, that helps.
Do you think that short of a national championship and a championship victory, that it would be a failure for Mario in his career?
I don't think so, but those are his goals. Those are his goals. And touching back on what I said, his relentlessness, I don't doubt it. I can't doubt it because I know too much. I know how he is, about how he operates, about what his nature is all about. And we're not talking about him only. He has surrounded himself with like-minded individuals.
Right.
I mean, he's got an army of freaking badasses, man, and they're working their tails off. And they all have that same goal. I mean, that's the ultimate goal. You know, all of the great ones, yeah, they love winning, but they probably hate losing just as much. So it's like let's get it done. Let's do this. And but yeah, I think it's on the horizon. I mean, you know, it might take a little bit, obviously, because there's a lot of work that needs to be done. I mean, and this is not inside information or nothing. This is just me being a fan and knowing what national championship teams look like and feel like, and they'll be fine. I mean, Miami's going to be tough as hell. I can guarantee you that. The Miami Hurricanes are going to be tough as hell. I promise you that one.
Last question. Do you ever concern yourself? I mean, you love your brother, you love his family as well as your own family. You're very tight now. But you ever concern yourself that he's maybe too obsessed with this and it's going to spill over into getting into that dangerous obsession territory where it's just too much? It takes too much from other parts of your life. Or is that not a concern? That's
not a concern, because you have to know the type of animal that you're dealing with right now. Never met anyone like him. I'm biased, all right? I'm biased. I'm gonna tell you that because he's my brother, but he is a different animal. Relentless, dedicated, loyal are three adjectives. Hyper intelligent. I mean, he's a guy that's gonna do whatever it takes to climb to the top. And he's a great father, a great husband. And you know, some things, yeah, they have to give. And in his case, you know what actually gives? Sleep. You know, I mean,
yeah.
That's like the only concern that I have, is he resting enough? Because you do have to spend time with your family, and he does the very best that he can. And fortunately, you know, Jessica is great. She's a great partner. She's a great football wife, a great mother, a great friend. And we're just, I mean, I don't worry about that. I really don't. You have to really know the type of animal that you're dealing with. And I think people are starting to see that. You know, he's the one guy, dude. Seriously, he's the one guy that I've always thought, if there's a guy that can do anything he wants, and those close to us have all, you know, like our friends and stuff, like our really close, I've always said that Mario is that guy that whatever he puts his mind to, he can do. He's that one guy at anything, whether it's coaching football, whether it's becoming a jiu-jitsu champion, whether it's, you know, being the best Secret Service agent ever, whether it's beating an unbeatable video game. He's the guy. He's the guy.
Hey, Luis, I really appreciate you taking the time, you know, from your schedule, but we really do honor, you know, Miami-Dade Police. Of course, I'm a Miami boy. You guys put it on the line every day, and you all have, in one way or another, made the sacrifices. In some cases, some of you have risked your lives every day for the betterment of our society and community. So we honor you, and we thank you for your service, and we thank you for joining us today.
Thanks, Roy. You take care, and go Canes. There you go.